Listen, it kill me whenever dudes are colorist and y'all say, but your mom is dark skinned. Let me tell you, let me break it down for you. When I say men do not see women as human beings, not even their mom.
Baby, can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me?
As long as Black women have existed in America, we have been put down for our skin color, our bodies, and our natural hair. In the 18th century, British colonists deemed African hair as closer to sheep wool than human hair, setting the precedent that white hair is preferable or quote-unquote good, a racially charged notion in and of itself. After the emancipation of slavery, many Black Americans sought to straighten their hair to fit in. Madam C.J. Walker, the first Black female millionaire, made her fortune selling products meant to straighten Black hair as a way to help Black women get ahead in society by fitting in aesthetically. Today I'm going to talk about texturism, and I'm going to talk about Shannon Sharpe's recent comments and how he pretty much disregarded Black WNBA players. Shannon Sharpe recently was found defending the likes of WNBA player Caitlin Clark, which in itself isn't bad. It's just that Shannon Sharpe has a history of basically going along with the popular effect and wanting to fit into white society, in my opinion. Shannon Sharpe essentially claimed Clark should get most of the credit for the WNBA's rise in popularity ahead of the 2024 season. He even slammed his co-workers at ESPN, and I'm just going to play the video.
Stephen A., I would be remiss if I didn't say this. A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this credit. What about the women that came before her? What the women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. But there was a lot of people trying to make sure they keep Caitlin Clark in her place, because what you're doing, if you give her all this shine, you minimize what they done. You can't minimize what Maya Moore or Candace Parker or Lisa Leslie or Lauren Jackson or Diana Taurasi or Simone Augustus or any of the other great players. That Caitlin Clark, what she's doing doesn't minimize what they've done, but we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation? What about this? What about it? That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is box office. She's doing this. And instead of giving her credit, y'all tried to make it about, oh, y'all poo-pooing the old guard. Y'all never talked about the old guard like this. Nah, I ain't gonna let it slide. Caitlin Clark, unanimous rookie of the year. But what's even more impressive, she's first team WNBA. First.
No, Shannon, I hear you, right? I hear you 100%. But another level of noise was coming from people. You were one of them who also tried to create a picture around Caitlin that the league was against her based on the actions of less than 5 former players or current players, which also creates a lot of noise.
It's like you're trying to use Black racial ideology to defend a white woman. So that in her place thing often pretty much applies to Black women. Even though Caitlin Clark, I'm sure she does face some misogyny, Caitlin Clark has been pretty much protected. The WNBA in general has been scrutinized as a women's sport who people don't like or people say don't deserve to be paid well. But Caitlin Clark, people ride for her to the end. So because of this, a lot of people feel like that Shannon Sharpe should have kept that same energy for Black women, specifically Black WNBA players who actually face racism and sexism and who often aren't defended or spoken up for. A Twitter user says, my issue is Shannon Sharpe never speaks on the disrespect the rest of the women of the WNBA experience. He's always defending Caitlin. The WNBA disrespect didn't start with Caitlin. They've been disrespected for years. Caitlin's buzz made that hate way worse. And people who tried to have the other women's back got called haters by people like Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith, who wanted us to be thankful for ratings boosts. Sharpe began defending himself on X, formerly known as Twitter. In response to the backlash, he tweeted, "That's your issue, not mine. I have no issue with anything I've said in regards to WNBA and its players past or present." Then he went on to make personal attacks towards the woman. And he basically told her to give the horse back her hair. This tweet is a long assumption of Shannon Sharpe being anti-Black woman. Aside from like perhaps maybe Monique and Megan Good's interview, he hasn't been particularly kind to Black women. In particular, he gaslighted Amanda Seales and her thoughts on being pro-Black, etc. And then he made a horrible comment towards Meg. And when he interviewed her, he apologized to her publicly. When then, ironically, going back to the hair statement, he made a similar statement about Black hair in regards to his daughter, who has like some long, thick, beautiful hair. Basically saying that her hair was real and it had to do with his genetics. And a lot of people feel like that was uncalled for because no one said that her hair wasn't real, at least to my acknowledgement. It just seems like Shannon Sharpe knows that Black women will respond, or he is crying for attention. But again, he targets Black women or anti-Black women rhetoric. Shannon Sharpe basically is only known at this moment because of his Black demographic keeping him afloat. He was already publicly humiliated by mainstream media, which forced him to even start his own podcast. So it's ironic he would target his Black woman fan base by being insensitive. In the 90s, comments about Black women having horsehair were rampant. It was very common to hear even people like D.L. Hughley call the Rutgers basketball team nappy-headed, whom happened to be predominantly Black women.
And then let's face it, you know, he called them hoes, nappy-headed hoes, and they weren't hoes. But it was some nappy-headed women on that team. Shut up, I'm gonna say it, I don't give a damn, y'all like it or not, you know it's true. Them are some of the ugliest women I ever seen in my whole life. You kidding me? Thank you, good night everybody, Ross here, thank you.
So I think it's interesting how many times, again and again, even as young celebrities, that Black men, boys are encouraged to display hate towards Black girls and Black women. I think it's interesting how many times, again and again, Black male celebrities taunt Black women's hair on national platforms, yet these same men expect reciprocity when they face discrimination. And I'm going to play some public opinion, and then I'm going to conclude.
This hair is no gooder than this hair. Let's talk about it. As a result of Eurocentric beauty standards, there is a societal preference towards looser curl patterns. This is known as texturism. Now, I have locks, but my hair would be categorized as 4C. My shit is healthy, durable. I done lost my edges a few times. They always came back. Oh, bashata. But I will never be seen as having good hair by those in my community because mine is not wavy or fine enough. Now, thankfully, my mother provided enough positive reinforcement to where I never felt no way about it. Shout out to Tammy. But even as a child, I recall hearing derogatory comments from other Black people about nappy hair. Y'all be posting pictures of your newborn's placenta perm talking about my baby got good hair. The damn child still smells like your uterus and you're already giving it a complex. Texturism is the reason why we have to fight to wear our natural hair in certain spaces. It's also the reason why some Black women chemically alter their hair texture. So y'all, if your hair is healthy, then it's good, regardless of the texture. And even if it ain't healthy, you're doing your fucking best, okay? Your mama shouldn't have permed your hair when you was little.
I miss how back in the days, our motivational speakers are people that gave us inspiration, are members of our community, and people that we knew. Not people that just have the gift of gab, that are eloquent, that can go online and say whatever and gain a certain amount of popularity and followers and likes, and that's what makes them influential, and we know nothing about these people. There's so many people that have been influential, still have a huge following, and we know nothing about them, but people idolize them like they're some type of deity, like they're the Messiah or something. I remember even back in the day, not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, when Shannon Sharpe was first taking off, I was having a debate with one of my homeboys. He was calling him Unc, and I was like, since when do we call motherfuckers that we don't know Unc? I don't know about other people, but in our communities, Unc was reserved for like people we knew, people we respected, men that were well respected in our community, and that we knew, and we knew how they moved, and they moved a certain way. People started calling this man Unc just because he wore a stocking cap, smoked Black and Milds and drank Hennessy on national TV. And now I see the whole play, because the Unc thing is a term of endearment. So once you call this man Unc, then no matter what he does after that, like it's in your mind like he's some type of family member, like he should be protected and respected. But we've seen, like, how do you go on IG Live, which everyone knows you got to click a bunch of buttons to get on there. Say you did it on accident, you were having an encounter with a young lady, trying to apologize for it, then come out and sell dick pills and merch, when we know you lying. And it just shows, like, the amount that these folks will go to just to increase their celebrity, to increase their profit or whatever it is. Like, they don't have no integrity like the people we grew up on. They don't have no morals like the people we grew up on. They just have a following, a platform, and a push behind them to make them even more popular. And think about it, even if, say, that you think he wasn't lying, that he was Lee, that's even worse. Now think about it. You're this young lady, you have an encounter with this man. It gets leaked online, it goes viral, then he comes out and prints t-shirts with your name on it. Like, what kind of dudes are we following? Like, what kind of people are we respecting out here? And popularity is the root of all evil. These people get popular, they want more and more money, and it's never satisfying, and the people will defend them to no end. You see it with Trump and all kinds of other people that become these deities that people put up on the wall and act like they praying to. And to me, it's all because we've gotten away from community. We got away from the respected people of our community. Regardless of what they're doing, like, we like the way they carry themselves. And I'm glad I grew up in that era, because this era with these people don't do it for me. And I don't idolize none of these folks, and I don't really think nobody else should either. That's my 2 cents. Peace.
I have 4C hair, and texturism doesn't really bother me anymore, just because I decided I wasn't going to let strangers determine how I present myself or my hair. But it really irritates me when it comes from family members or, like, people that are close to me. So I just got off a FaceTime call with my sister, and I didn't know she was with certain family members of ours, and one of them, very young little girl, she's like under 13, she's mixed, black and white. I didn't have my bonnet on because I was giving myself a scalp massage, and she makes comments about my hair, saying, like, my twists look like spiders and stuff. And it's not the first time she's made comments about, like, how I wear my hair. She's called it, like, crazy before, and, like, she'll, like, ask me to pick her up so she can, like, pull on my wig and say, haha, I got your wig. But stuff like that really starts to get to me, and I don't really say anything, just because, like, she's a kid, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be rude, but, yeah, I'm putting a stop to that. I'm not going to allow this little girl to grow up thinking that it's okay to be texturist and, colorist, because I feel like that's definitely the path she's heading down. But it's also, like, it's really weird that my family doesn't correct this kind of behavior, if that makes sense, especially her father, because her father is black and her mother is white. So, I mean, not too surprising there, but it's just something that really irritates me when it comes from people that are close to me. I've also had similar comments made by others who were close to me. Someone has said that my hair reminded them of a male rapper. I remember one time when I wanted to try that viral rice water soap, you know, I told my friend about it because she had one too, and she said it wasn't meant for my hair. It was meant for, like, straight, like, really straight hair, and I clearly don't have that, but it was just, like, I don't know, because, like, I've used rice water before I even met her, so it was like, I don't know why she would make those kinds of comments. But I've had, like, people make comments about my hair, but I don't really care when it comes from strangers. But if it comes from somebody I know, just know that I will put you in your place and I won't think twice about it. But yeah, it's like 2024. There's no reason to be texturist, you know, like, just keep your mouth shut.
Texturism within the black community sometimes hits harder the microaggressions and things we experience in white spaces. If we don't have a certain type of hair that's aesthetically pleasing, it's the harsh reality that we not only have to deal with that outside of our community, but we have to deal with that when we go to the family cookout. Our grandma sometimes, not my grandma, she hasn't said it to my face, Our home, our church, our whatever, those are supposed to be safe spaces, right? There's people who are afraid to show up as their authentic, natural selves because they don't want to deal with the repercussions in their own house, at their auntie's house, grandma's house, cousin's house. They don't want to deal with that because they're going to be called nappy-headed. Because they're going to be questioned. We ain't going to get a relaxer. We're going to hot comb that. We're going to flat iron that. Somebody a little while ago posted on one of my videos a comment saying, like, you look so much happier now that you're locked. I feel happier. You know, I've posted content about how I was nervous when I was in corporate, but because I was not in a safe space. I wasn't in a safe space. And I was already dealing with so much. And now that I am locked and I'm here, I really wish I would have shown up in that space as I am. You know, I would love to show up in those spaces feeling how confident and beautiful and empowered I feel today. But who I was today was not who I was back in 2017, 18, 19. You know, I'm not that same person, and I'm excited about that. But let's not forget, we got some work to do at home too. I don't like to be divisive on here within our community. I like to keep our business, but sometimes it needs to be discussed. Sometimes it's hard for some of us to be released from the ideas of European beauty standards, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and I do my best daily to detach from that because I'm raising my children to love themselves as their hair grows out of their scalp. Kinky, coily, wavy, whatever. I want them to love every inch of them. I ain't about to let nobody rain on their parade. They are brand new. It is my job to pour into my babies and give them an example. So I'm going to continue to do the work. I'm going to continue to show up here and have these conversations because I'm constantly learning and evolving. And I'm hoping that there are so many other people of color, Black people, who are wanting to do that same work. The people who came before us, they had to assimilate for protection. Although that is still the case at times, I don't want that for us. I don't want that for my kids. Yeah.
I want to be honest and say that Shannon Sharpe is a former athlete and sportscaster, and I've never seen him make quite a political or pro-Black statement. Honestly, I don't expect him to. He is an older Black man from the South who has been conditioned to stay in his place for his riches. However, if maintaining the status quo means ignoring Black women and their talent in sports and criticizing our hair, then I can't contribute to his financial gain by supporting him. Black women deserve safety and inclusion, and we will be the ones to continue to fight for our existence and respect to thrive. Let me know your thoughts on this subject. And thank you for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.